Alright, so what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to get the receipt uploaded on Upside and get cash back. So it actually goes through there and starts building an amount for a cash out on the Upside. Alright, we're going to try Benbrook. Just measuring for the 0.7.
Got baffling at the back of the church, feeling wild on your brow with its healing it hurts at first. A sharpish pain that returns as a thought that the needle in your skin will bring you closer to God. And I watch as your head turns full circle. I'm hopeless with no coffee and a medical test. It's too easy knowing life and going off the rest. Full circle. Still travels in a spiritual book, Mr. Beaches from Nirvana and the Witch. Your head turns full circle. Your head turns full circle.
C-130, it holds 60 paratroopers. Could be a gunship or maritime patrol. Turboprop propeller.
Someone should have told you that you'd always have a place to go. Oh. Someone should have told you that you'll never find yourself alone.
Oh, Psycho Duck. I remember this. Yeah, 13 ducks are dead, and there's one duck that lived or something. Tragic. Part of the movie where, you know, he looks up, so it just says he looks up. It's like this.
Just a speckle as a feather in the stream. See, honey, I saw face up to my face so I could see. Yeah, then I saw love disfigure me into something I recognize. You see the cage it called me. It put its face up to my face so I could see. You see the cage it called. I said, come on in. I will not open myself down on you. You will not see me fall, you see me struggle. I said, come on in. I will not open myself up this way again.
Bergman is, yeah, because you can see the sky where the hill is on the other side of the Trinity.
In that treetop night, I see the shadows that we cast in the cold, clean light. My feet are gold, and my heart is wide, and we race out on the desert.
One tree somewhere down there. That's really awesome along this road right here. Rockwood. This is the rockwood tree. There should be a black and white photo of that tree. Some ball games going on.
You come to see, you just stand there in the glass.
I'm telling you now, I'm writing a novel about a corrupt police officer, and I'm telling you these alarm systems, well, it's actually a mock police officer, but the alarm system's dang good to get. And let me tell you about the brains of the operation. C-130, 60 paratroopers, 90 passengers, gunship, also maritime patrol. It's got turboprop propellers on each side. It's known as Hercules, Fat Albert, United States Marines. It's also Navy Blue Angel. That's a retired one right there.
I've only been in love
Alright, I figured out what light never goes dim. They're at the mall near here playing laser tag in slow motion. It's very Drive, if you think of Rethin. Yeah, that's what that kind of reminds me of a little bit. And they're playing in slow-mo. This is for your love and pay training. Just figured it out right there. It'll be added to the script. I did like the fact that they bar hop, but then I like the fact that they play games and like maybe do things. Because, you know, it's kind of borderline commission based. They're going to get the sell, you know, because ideally getting one a day is great. And if they got one a day, they would probably beat the competitor over time if it was consistent. So in the story, I think he's towards the end of the day, and he's kind of like what's happening to him. Okay, so I'm doing backstory for Jay. Okay, we just know his name is Jay. What he ends up figuring out, or what you end up figuring out, is that he's skating on thin ice. And so he, towards the end of the day, finds her. And, you know, she's on a plastic wrapped couch, which is like the only furniture in this abandoned mansion that he figures she's not supposed to be there. But you never find out if she's the homeowner or not. But she tags along with him. And so before dim light, you know, he decides to help her, and he gets one. So he sees her as kind of a good luck charm. So the next day they're doing something, but he has to deal with it. And since he got that, he's kind of celebrating. So they go to laser tag, and this comes up. So it's going to be posted in just a minute. The laser tag sequence with Jay and Lisa Leanne Lee.
with the sound of my voice.
very, very dry, very Redfin. So they're like kind of laughing. It's all slow-mo, and they're shooting you see the laser. It's very, like, very laser, very dry, very neon. So I love that movie Drive. Redfin does it. But it's very, like, you see sweat maybe coming off, and he's shooting. It's like jumping over here, laughing. The kid, like, hits his head, falls over. She's, like, laughing, too. And then she takes a drink of, you know, the watermelon, mini watermelon, and fires another one. Or maybe she sneaks a drink in slow-mo or something. That Redfin does it. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up with the Redfin app. Redfin does Drive. It's like very slow-mo laser tag in the mall, but they're like, you know, just slow motion. And maybe there could be, like, you know, the smoke and laser tag. They have like smoke. It's kind of like camouflages, so that smoke kind of comes up very Taxi Driver, you know, like in the light with different color, purple and green and yellow, or whatever lights they use. Very red and neon and maybe pink, and then you see it come up, and then, you know, maybe you see her in the fog, and then she's holding, and then the gun, you know, the laser tag gun, and she, you know, fires a beam of laser. You know, you hear this echoing, kind of like, you know, that kind of stuff. All right, so now I figured out structure by getting there, because that was kind of a break. The laser tag sequence is kind of break for the audience, and there's going to be a sequence of a lot of information, which I got today, which will go into Your Love with Paid Training. That sequence of information will probably be done quick, followed up finally by a cell. Okay, so they'll get one each day, and it's repetitive, and so it's like after a few days they're like, what's going on with Jay? You know, he's moving up to like maybe district manager or something, and it's because she's actually a lucky charm, you know. And so the idea is that he's gone through all these different positions of the same genre, or the same thing, getting paid training kind of in a way, that this is like turning out for him, you know. So he was down on his luck, and then all of a sudden she's like the charm, but she's got a hang up. She's freaking drunk, but she likes to have fun. So it brings the fun back into it. And then somewhere in the mix, you know, he gets the cell. She may wait in the car or something, you know, and then maybe eventually somewhere I work it in where it's like a team cell. I just saw one. I didn't film it, but I saw one, a team cell of a man and a woman selling at a door. So this might be something that people are doing. I'm not sure, but there was a man and a woman. They were giving out something at the door, and it looked like they were selling something. So that is kind of the thing, you know. So there's not like, you know, with the cops and stuff, like he sees them every once in a while, and they are commissioned to do ADT, I guess, to a certain extent. I guess off time. I don't really know if the department likes it or whatever, or it's moonlighting or whatever. But in this world, okay, so I don't know if it's real or not, but that's something they see. So that's the orca. If they're fish in the ocean, you know, you see the orca goes by, and you're like, whoa, we're fish. Here goes the orca, and they call them orcas too. So I have to throw that in there somewhere too. So we're going to be doing, like, you know how I was doing the novel with Rib. We'll be doing that with Your Love with Paid Training, as long as the energy stays in. The reason I mentioned that they get a cell each day, that changes his life financially, and it changes his life altogether, where he likes her. Now, the cell comes each day, and he needs that, and it's great, but there's also a different break, if you could say. There's also a different timeout sequence. The laser tag sequence is a timeout sequence. So on another day, there's also something fun. You know, like the Dos Duca at Wet and Wild, which they call Hurricane Harbor. You know, something of that nature, or swinging on a swing into the river, you know, very Mountain Dew kind of thing. Even though, you know, that's like kind of extreme, you know, where they get the bathing suits, you know, or something. So there'll be like those breaks in between. That way the audience has a break from all the knowledge, but he's very serious about the job, but he doesn't take himself that serious, maybe, you know. And then she's tagging along, you know. So it's that kind of thing. So there'll be another day where there's a break, and then there's serious selling attempts, you know. Door slamming happens, you know, in this thing. You know, get off my property sometimes, not always. And then there's just, you know, well, we're just not really that interested. Is there, you know, and then there's a rebuttal to that, which is basically, well, I understand you're not interested, completely understand. Can I ask you this, you know, if you were to make a decision on this, you know, if you had your ducks in a row and it was in a perfect world, would you say you were interested in maybe a week, 2 weeks, or a month? Well, you know, ADT's done a tremendous amount of research, and they find out that people do end up getting a system within that month, or unfortunately, when something happens. And then, you know, laser tag, you know, it goes into laser tag, you know, it goes, you know, the what I call the laser tag sequence, you know, that kind of thing. They can even use this song over and over again. And I always wish that Drive would have used one of the songs over and over. It might have. Now that sequence in Drive, which is Refn, that sequence is when they're in the aqueducts and they're driving, and it's all fun. It's very montage, and the hair's blowing, and Ryan Gosling's driving, and that's done to the music, and it's very Grease Lightning, and they're going up on the aqua, what's it called? Aqua, whatever. When they're in the car and they're driving along the aqua thing. You know what it's called. But that kind of thing happens, so. And eventually another day happens, and that of course brings us to the Silver Wheel, which is the roller rink. It really happened at Silver Wheel. That's when the close call happens, and he has to follow the ambulance, and there's Jello shots handed out in the back, not to him but to her, only she takes a few more swigs off maybe like an Everclear, and then all of a sudden she's not conscious and the ambulance comes in. That can be in some slow-mo too, but it's a different song, maybe the same song, I don't know. We could try it in the editing room. But then there's the following of the ambulance and stuff, and then there's the ER sequence, which that could be shown maybe at the end of after the credits, because that's a real sequence that should be there, which is a very serious sequence, which is of reality, sets in, where there's almost a sense of loss. Then there's a talk of maybe you should quit. Then there's a leaving Las Vegas kind of feel, and leaving Las Vegas is perfect. And I love the sequence with Nicolas Cage where he says, "Me not need doctor." There's some of that there too. There's a childlike quality to the drunk that's real to a certain extent, but I don't think she says those lines, but I like the fact that they use words to reveal his drunken state, you know, kind of thing. There's some of that. And this is Overton right here. So what's interesting to understand is that when she tags along and she leaves the abandoned mansion and she tags along with him, he doesn't immediately show her his trade, you know, with the sales rabbit and all the stuff that I found out today that he'll show her and saving the dispositions and things like that. He didn't show her that immediately. He does that when he starts to think that she might be a possible candidate for, you know, maybe that position. But he first just lets her he lets her tag along, and she just might watch him do some of the stuff. So the sequence is very clear. He'll meet her. Then after he meets her, the alarm, you know, of course the alarm goes off, and then there's the rock music that plays, which was coming from an alarm. And I'm talking the difference between a siren and an alarm that wakes you up, a siren that scares you. So after that, then they would go into the selling, and she would tag along. He'd have to tag along with her, because she's like, basically she says, well, I don't belong here. She's talking about the mansion. So she gets in with him, and then they start going on, you know, looking for the cell to open the account with the ADT. Now, that is the sequence that happens afterwards. They don't get one, so there's something slightly fun that they have to go do. I have to figure that out. That fun time happens. Then after that, boom, the very last one that he knocks, the guy decides to do it, and they get it. And it's like a big deal. The only thing is, she's in the car, and then she's waiting. She keeps looking over there. Then the night would pass. So there would be, I would try to make a stance, or I tried to make a decision on whether, I'm showing that aspect of it, or we just go into next day. Because that's the magic of cinema, or filmmaking, you can do that. You can just go right to the next day. There might be something like a blanket covering her on the couch, and we notice that it's not the plastic wrap couch, but it's the couch, probably his couch. Maybe there's a cat, and then boom, because he also has a thing with cats. Then the next day, and then he's already getting congratulated on that cell, and boom, information. He starts to see her as a candidate, as a possible style of work. And so then that's when we get into the sales rabbit and that information, and boom, exactly right after that is when laser tag sequence. And that establishes that something serious will happen, and then something fun, then something serious, and then something fun, then something serious, and then something fun, until we get to the roller rink where it gets real serious. Okay, which you could possibly say maybe is like climax. Then this used to be a movie trading company.
Been in love only one time.
It's got a for sale sign, so it's not going to be anything right there. Meaning they're not ready yet. It easily could be. It doesn't have to be laser tag, because we never really did laser tag. We were around some form of laser tag when she worked at like a main event kind of thing for a little bit. But I came in to do some vlogging, and they didn't like that, so they got rid of her. But it was like a main event. It could easily be a roller rink. This could easily be a roller rink, because roller rink is cool. Yeah, roller rink is cool. Because, you do slow-mo with hair blowing. Right, hair blowing, slow-mo, Xanadu almost. But not Xanadu, but you know what I mean. Man, they know how to make music. Because Neil Young is a for sale one. Yeah, these are newer homes. Neil Young knows, that tree back there is actually really cool, or it looked cool. Yeah, so you get the music involved, and it takes the whole story to a whole freaking different level than it needed to be in the first place. You lose the music, the clowns are gone. Or the other way around. Never heard of burglary? Smart home security with a camera? Have you heard of the sky blue? No, I haven't heard of it. Also, it'd be cool to shoot it in Fort Worth too. If they, if I was giving like a bunch of dough, they're like, "Yeah, we like your Love with Pay training." I'm like, "All right," and the obligation is we shoot it in Fort Worth. They got like filming trucks and crews all freaking movie stars coming in on private jets, and they're pretty much going to bring movie stars in like on those little cars that can fly. You know, they just come flying down. Here's Brad Pitt. He's flying down on the car. Right, man. Buddy screams so loud he spit. That's like someone's monologue. Where'd you get that from? Crazy Clown Time. That's a good monologue. Yeah, I think I got it from the lyrics. So Buddy screams so loud he spit. That's written by David Lynch? Yeah. That's a good monologue, dude. Yeah, we're going to let you in a Juilliard just because Buddy screams so loud he spit. Thanks. It's good. Now go ahead and do it. If anyone rips me off on the David Lynch, Buddy screams so loud he spit, I'm getting lawyers. Yeah, if I see that on the Tonight Show, whatever, lawyers will be drawn. That's my joke. Hello, my name's Cole Spivey. This will be a monologue written by David Lynch and the song Crazy Clown Time. Buddy screams so loud he spit. And now I will be acting that out. Thank you. Good night. Imagine selling ADT equipment to Animal House, you know. Everyone answers the door in togas. I'm looking for the new homeowner. And this guy like James Blue, she's like, ah! So, have you heard of home security? Ah! Well, our sirens have 105 decibel. Ah! All right. That's fine. Dogs and guns. I always, when they're like, have you heard of home security? I was like, my dog has a gun. All the way from California. Frogger. Gonna run it. Got it. It's a really cool looking house right there. Be wary of text scams. I've read on Google, it'll come through like it's NTAA, or it'll come through like it's the DMV. They don't do that, and they'll have a QR with it. Ignore it. Every time I see this, I always think of Shoestring Hobo. They found him at the bottom of a lake not very long ago. He was a Vietnam vet that did this kind of stuff. He would ride these trains. called Grainers. Probably related to Uncle Pete. McDonald's.
Street light that shone before, went through the night.
Man, watching some Facebook TV. That funny girl shakes her booty big time. All right, Insomnia Cookies. Insomnia Cookies, a pretty good one. Right over this way, on our way. All right. After Insomnia Cookies is Jersey Mike's, which is pretty close by. One cookie for $2.79, man. That's high. I can go to 7-Eleven and get 2 cookies for $1. That's a giant. 1,700. That's your daily value on the original Italian giant on the calories. Oh, the guy there, that Jersey Mike's is my second favorite. My first is Schlotsky. He eats at Schlotsky's too, but there's my second favorite best. It used to be Subway or Mom and Pop, but now they've got some good ones. This is a giant freaking sandwich, a 1,700 calorie. Pretty biggie. All right. Insomnia Cookies on the way. 7.4 miles for the delivery. We should arrive at 8:50. So I know a new method that I'm going to be doing. What it's going to be is it's going to be rewriting a one page on the screenplay, just one page for now. And then it'll be like me reading it, right? But that won't be posted. What will be posted is a preview of that, which will be a 7 second, probably 7 seconds of just that page 1 and also of page 2. Within the description of the YouTube post will be a description of what that page is about, which is 1 minute of cinema time. It'll take me maybe a minute or so to read it, but that'll come in the later part of the vlog. Right now, you'll receive just out of nowhere, it'll say, probably Your Love with Paid Training, page 1. Your Love with Paid Training, page 2. Those would be 2 separate posts of about 7 seconds or so. So you just can read it. It takes 7 seconds you can pause it and read that page and then look into the description to see what it's about. That'll be released throughout the entire screenplay. Very similar to the experimental play we did, which did not have page numbers, but it has dates. All those were posted within dates, which are readings within the vlog. It'll still be within the vlog. The only major difference is it'll only go up as the page for 7 seconds. Almost like a moving photo. And those will be done separately. So within the vlog, it'll be hidden a screenplay. Your love with paid training is on its way. And I will be using proper software format under a thing called Final Draft, which you write on a cloud. Final Draft 13, which I'll be dealing with.
To be acknowledged by some touch from his hard hand. You see the cagey call.
It's very Michael Mann, that
I said, come on.
purple light there. Here we go with today's kitty. There's one kitty and 9 lives, and each cat life has a number. Numbers 1 through 9, and swirl the cat food. Pick a cat food. Today's kitty will be having cat food, known as Fancy Feast. Salmon or tuna. Well, tomorrow's kitty. All right, so as I was walking, I realized something. Hang on for a second. I gotta do a few things, just give me a second. Well, ideally it was a comedy, Your Love with Paid Training, but I think you witnessed something, because I like the movie Witness too. It was edited by Tom Noble, who won an Oscar for it. But it's a romance comedy, but then I think what ends up happening is they start getting the cells day by day. They have fun, maybe laser tag, maybe roller skating. Regardless, won't make too much big of a difference. I do like laser tag. But what ends up happening maybe, he's kind of a filmmaker too himself in a way. Even though it just says he's ADT salesman, sells alarms, burglar, fire alarms. He witnesses something, and it's a bad thing. And it's basically, there is a possible something that goes on with a cop. Kind of witness, I think there's a cop involved in that too. I like that last scene where he's Harrison Ford's like, what are you gonna kill her? You're gonna kill the boy, you're gonna kill her, you're gonna kill, all that kind of stuff. So it may take a shift. I don't like outlines. I'm staying away from outlines because outlines kind of box you in. And I almost did an outline today in my head, and then I realized, wait, it's going to go in another direction. It's going to get Brian De Palma. Let's just put it that way. Maybe Michael Mann, but I like Brian De Palma a little bit better, maybe. Because Blowout's one of my favorite. John Travolta is just amazing. And just getting all that stuff. But he uses his technology, the thing, just like in Blowout, he uses the sound technology. But he's an ADT guy. So it'd be easy to frame them, but I've got to find a cat and mouse thing, or he wouldn't necessarily be done. This is going to go later on, bleed over to vlogger versus vlogger, which is a big thing. I wanted to maybe bring De Niro in. I don't know, I saw De Niro in something in 2023. He doesn't look too bad, energy-wise and stuff. He plays a guy named Joe, a vlogger who's a hitman who it's kind of high anxiety, Mel Brooks cross between that and Blowout, with vlogging and technology and uploading, and he tries to basically go through the encryption of his phone to keep him from sending up information of a hit that he witnesses a hit. This is probably something to that degree, kind of witness in a way, but it's not necessarily hit, but it has something to do. And so I'm going to have to kind of think about this. I'm thinking about it on the way there. Something's going to happen. Cat and mouse is going to happen. She's going to be along with the ride, and it's going to get kind of Witness. You ever seen Witness with Harrison Ford? Tom Noble directed it. I'm sorry, he edited it. Edited it. Tom Noble won an Oscar for editing that. We'll deal with it. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm just... Got it. The place, his place, remember there's going to be a scene where she sleeps on the couch. The neighboring place burns down. But days before, he saw a cop walking the platform. Shortly after, Lisa Leanne got arrested for running a red light. And she told him that she was somewhere else. They checked on that, possibly without knocking on the door. Secretly, there was a place, a stash they were keeping, like Training Day. The movie Training Day, like. When the fire happened, I noticed that in one of the apartments that are adjacent to the fire, that it was crowbarred. They were trying to get in there. So there was a fire. They come before the fire department gets there to retrieve the stash. They crowbar, they get in. This is at least in the screenplay. And they retrieve it. He only notices that there's crowbar action. So they start trailing him and find out that he's basically kind of like a screenwriter, but also works for ADT. That's where it forks. They may see him at the bowling alley or recognize him, and then there has to be a cat and mouse thing, kind of like a witness, because they could pin it on them because that was crowbarred. The middle door was. But they were probably trying to get in there to put out the fire on the side of the wall. The fire department probably was. But it makes a good part of the story. Corrupt cop tries to get in to get a stash like Training Day, isn't able to, or is able to. It's not witnessed on camera, but it's known about because of the crowbar thing. He starts writing a story about it. It gets all kind of blowout. Anyway, we're going to do it bit by bit. Right now, we're going to keep it Your Love Paid Training for right now. Okay, Your Love with Paid Training. Dialogue between us is that scene. Next scene, Jay meets Lisa. Exterior front porch of a mansion. Dusk. Jay rolls up to $1 million home. The giant 3-story house has Tudor-style brick and a castle turret near an archway patio, lion statues and concrete Romanesque water fountain in the driveway. Jay walks up with his tablet in hand, dark-colored slacks, and nice black dress shoes. A lanyard ribbon hangs from his front hip pocket. He rings the doorbell, camera which makes no sound and does not beep or flash a light. The doorbell is dead. He notices the door is barely ajar. He looks around and sticks his head in the doorway. No furniture inside, nothing but a fancy leather couch wrapped in clear plastic stretch wrap. Hello, ADT here. No one answers. Echo. Hello. No answer. Echo. Jay thumbs at his tablet and swipes a few apps off the screen. Next, he looks through the cracked doorway. Hello. Jay looks behind him and then at the doorbell camera and stares into it, making sure it is inactive. Hello in there. He opens the door and struts right into and over the marble floor and into the carpeted living room with very high ceilings. There is a staircase that curves upward as if in a modern-day Sunset Boulevard. Looking for the new homeowner. No one answers. More echoes. The place is nice, but no furniture other than a luxurious L-shaped leather couch wrapped in a plastic covering. It glistens. He walks on the back side of it and notices it has not been properly placed. The couch faces backward and against the wall, so no one is able to just plop down on it. It seems very comfy. The entire living room floor is decked out with new carpet of soft mohair luxury sheen. Jay walks to the fireplace and faces the base of staircase, looks for a working alarm panel on the bare beige wall. Jay turns around and notices uncoiled middle-aged lady snoring with her feet dangling on the plastic-covered ottoman. Where is the security panel? He searches along the wall. He sees a panel blinking. Then he hears A tiny click. Huh? A 105 decibel siren sound in the living room. Jay covers his ears. Oh shit. Cut to close-up Lisa's eyes opening. Cut to long shot. Her head lifts up toward Jay in one jolt. She screams. He screams. She jumps up and tries to run, but trips on the ottoman and falls before Jay, who now is using his tablet as a shield. Jesus H. Christ. The siren shuts off. Then an alarm clock sounds. Rock music plays from very loud speakers. Lisa tosses the alarm clock onto a mess of 5 mini plastic Fireball liquor bottles. The rock music tapers off. Who are you? I'm with ADT. We're here to install your smart home system. What's that? Fire alarm burglary connects you to the police and fire department so you can get monitored. Monitored? It's part of your new homeowner's package. Package? Lisa's very hungover. She's also middle-aged, pretty, thin, but with meat on her bones. Nice figure, brown flowing hair, green eyes. She is now looking at his package. You're the homeowner, aren't you? Homeowner? Who's that? Ma'am, you live here, don't you? Where am I? 40444 Leaf, Cloverfield Leaf. Need the zip. That's a lot of fours. She falls to the ground and takes a load off. Yep, sure is. Silence enters the room. Jay scans the living room area with his eyes and notices a 40-ounce Bud Ice beer bottle tucked away in the corner. Next to that are a few empty small plastic mini 99 fruit party pack 50 millimeter bottles torn from a plastic packaging. Looks like got a hold of the 99 fruit party pack, preferably watermelon flavor. So what? She peels herself off the carpet. Page 2 of Your Love with Paid Training. Page 3 of Your Love with Paid Training, screenplay. Page 4 of Your Love with Paid Training, screenplay. Kitty, I'm trying to edit. What? Oh, Kitty. Let me. Ow! Now, Kitty.